Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and do celebrity legal news. Also, join me for my pop culture chats. If you'd like to support the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. My Venmo and Cash App is below. Thank you so much, and let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture. And this is a pop culture chat. I wanted to talk with you all seriously about a couple of things. Now, I have told you all uh, uh, my issues with AI, and at that time, my issue with AI was the fact that they were using images. Now we have all of these AI tools that can scan and mimic your face and uh, uh, your body and everything like that. And people have come up with all of these skits on the internet using actual real people, using people who have, you know, gone on to glory, that are no longer with you, that are deceased, coming up with all of these little different skits and things like that. And, I feel some kind of way about that. It might be my age. I don't care. But I just do feel like that people just using your image frivolously. And one of the things that I have noticed about that is the fact that these people that are creating this AI, that are creating these images and things like that, they tend to be looking at Black folk and using and getting the AI to get quite smarter in mimicking Black features, because I rarely see these AI with uh white or Asian or any other racial makeup or racial group. They're always putting forth so either they're babies running around talking like they're grown. Then you have we've seen there was a series at one time when you had people were using primates, apes, monkeys, chimpanzees, and everything like that, doing and acting as if they were human, but using AAVE to talk for the AI created primates. Then we've seen uh AI of like Mike Tyson, we've seen AI of Prince, we've seen AI of Michael Jackson, we have seen AI of all of these people, Tupac, Biggie, um all of the people who may or may not be icons in the Black community. We're seeing those people being used and put forth to do some ridiculous things, or things that they've never done before, and talking in ways they've never done before. And because of the realistic way that they look, if you don't know these people, or if you're not savvy, you would believe these people were doing these things, because they're doing realistic things like going on game shows and sitting in cars and selling. It's a whole lot of stuff, and they're using the images particularly of people who are deceased. So I hope the family and the estates of these people will make sure that their images are not used in such a manner. I really truly do, because I just think it's disrespectful. Now, I do have my mutual saying, well, AI is the wave of the future. Fine. I don't like AI doing that, because I think from a social and a cultural point, that is disrespectful, and that you're disrespecting our icons by doing that, because you're not disrespecting and I can tell you, the people who are creating these AIs, most of them don't look like me. They just come to our culture and pull these people out and want to make ha ha he he. I would suggest to all of you all, if these things are coming across your timeline, don't feed into that, because that means that they're just going to give you more. And if they're going to respect them, they're going to disrespect you. I'm just saying. Now that's my social and emotional stance of it. Now, do I understand and know that AI can be helpful? Yes, I think AI is helpful when you need for it to do some research for you on the internet fast in a hurry. If you are trying to research a subject, I don't have a problem with that. I think those are the better uses of a. I think that they're the better uses of AI. Uh, all that other stuff that's going on, you're going to start putting a lot of people out of work, and that's what continues to happen. Again, I know AI is the wave of the future, but I would have loved. I don't like to see it used against my own people. I just don't like it, and I'll just state it right there. But what I have found is that we got to be real careful. Not only does it have those type of implications, it has some real world implications as well. It's causing for a lot of people electric bills to go up because apparently when these companies, Oracle, Meta, uh, uh, all of these companies, these social media companies and everything like that, that use AI and they use the data to help them to do things, they are going into towns and they're setting up their data centers. And what's happening is they're setting up these data centers and they're talking to your politicians and talking about the benefits of it. It'll increase jobs. It'll do all of these different things, right? That's in the beginning, but you're talking about construction jobs. You're talking about even if you're talking about working in the center, these are usually jobs that are reserved for people with high tech. And so those people will relocate to the community, but I don't know how much that would factor in jobs because, like I said, the construction jobs will only be for what 2 to 5 years, and then they'll no longer need construction, and those people will move on. How much money is it bringing back into community versus the money that is taking out? And also, what's happening is that these municipalities are allowing them to come in, and they're not. I guess they're not charging them what they need to charge them for this electricity bill. To run these data centers, not only is it taking up the electricity, it's taking up your water supply. So there's a lot of things that are going on around these data centers. So let me just go ahead and click this next slide for you. And I want to make this bigger so we can see it. Wow, that's big. Now, if you look at this particular a slide, I think I like myself like this. AI is expected to drive more power and demand from data centers. If you look in the blue, these are the data centers that are already operating. And look at these centers up here, particularly in the Northeast. And you've had a lot of people complaining about the water being funny, or the water comes out with sediment and stuff in it because they're using so much water. So when you turn on your tap to pull the water up, it's not only pulling up water because the water table has gotten so low, it's also pulling up the sediment. But look at all these places that they already have data centers. And the yellow is where they're planning to have data centers. Okay. So it's real concentrated over here on the eastern coast, middle the Midwest, and I'm just circling what I'm Midwest. So we're looking up at North Dakota, Minnesota, and these places right here are not highly populated. So I don't know if you need a data center to be in a heavily populated area, but a lot of these data centers over here are in heavily populated areas. You don't have a data center in Montana and Wyoming. You have one in Wyoming and all of these little different places and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if the concentration of the population is what's increasing the need for data centers. But on this slide, this is showing you like the electricity places, the fiber optics, and all these places. So these will show you where data centers are going to want to crop up. And let me just remove this from the stage really quick and let me come back up. So then I wanted to kind of go over with you about, like I said, AI has its purpose. But if we're using AI for these things about showing celebrities doing certain things and stuff like that, I just don't think that that's such a good use of that, and particularly for the problems that we're having with that. And one of the things that is happening is you're having to cost share uh, with these to pay these bills. And so what happens is they're not really charging the data centers. What they're doing is they're pulling that cost on you. You have people who are running around here who had $100 electric bill 2 months ago. The next month it probably went up to 100, $200. Third month, you're having a $1,500 bill and you didn't use $1,500 worth of electricity. You'll still only use the hundred something dollars, but they're spreading the cost around all the other people. Now, not only are we being taxed at a higher rate now, and the companies are not being taxed, they're getting all these great tax breaks. We're now having to foot the bill for their electricity use. And that way they make more profits. You're having to foot this bill. And the way economy is now, no one cannot really putting people in the situation of paying an electric bill or paying their mortgage. Well, damn, you pay the electric bill, you won't be able to pay your mortgage, and it's going to only go up. But y'all marching on Saturdays. But let me continue. And so let's look at what the documented problems that are happening to populations that are living around data centers. Uh, Populations living near data centers face documented problems related to noise, air pollution, strain on local resources like water and power, and decreased quality of life. Interesting. So let's this for the air pollution. Data centers use large arrays of diesel generators for backup power that are tested regularly, sending plumes of toxic pollutants such as nitrogen dioxide and fine particulate matter into the atmosphere. So now you're talking about health issues. Because if you're someone that suffers from asthma or even not suffer any kind of toxic pollutant that goes up in the air, that causes respiratory issues. Fossil fuel reliance. Data center often increase their reliance on energy grids powered by fossil fuels, which degrades local and regional air quality. Why are these data centers not utilizing things like wind energy or solar energy? Why are they not getting some of that percentage from that? You've got toxic odors. Residents near data centers have reported noxious odors, often described as smoke or burning. And you can't have that in your lungs all day, but this is what these data centers are doing. These are the drain. Another thing is noise pollution. There's this constant humming. So you're hearing the servers, the cooling systems, the fans. Uh, and if it's a big, huge thing, it's all this background noise in noticeably quiet and rural areas. Again, backup generators, noise pollution with testing these generators, are making noise and can add to the high noise level. Disturbing noise levels can extend for more than 1,000 feet, and some reports show that it can be detected up to 2 miles away. So if you're living 2 miles away from a data center, you can hear that rumbling and humming at night. And for some people, that can be aggravating. It's a huge resource drain, particularly their high water use. Data centers consume vast quantities of water for cooling, sometimes millions of gallons per day, as much as a small city. This can lead to local water shortages, particularly in areas already facing drought. Now, mind you, with all this going on, they are wanting to share the cost with you. And so not only are you facing a high electric bill, you're also facing a high water bill. Heavy energy use, I've talked about that. E-waste, the continuous turnover of servers and equipment creates significant amount of e-waste, which can pollute soil and groundwater if not disposed of correctly. And we know that companies like to cut corners, and they're not going to do that. Socioeconomic impacts, we got industrialization. The construction of large data centers convert natural habitats and farmland into industrial zones, which can alter their landscape and cause pushback from residents. Uneven benefits. While data centers can generate tax net revenue and some jobs, the economic benefits don't outweigh the cost for many residents. Construction jobs are temporary, permanent jobs can be few, and tax breaks for companies can shift costs onto taxpayers. And we have talked about that. And that is a real deal, particularly if you're talking about a rural area. And if you live like in my state, in rural areas, we have the power company for the state. But in a lot of rural companies, they have to use co-ops to get their power. And the issue with that is the co-op is getting their power from the big power company, but the power company doesn't want to operate anything in those little rural towns. And so you're having those people having pay literally having to pay double for their energy versus people who can get it from the main power company within the state. The significant noise and pollution that can affect your property value. If you're living in particularly, you remember I showed you that the map with the Northwest. And if we look at this slide over here, the Northeast, they have can you imagine the difficulty that they'll have for selling their homes? Because people don't want to buy a home near something that's noisy with noise pollution. So your property value will go down. Health problems. We had talked about the fine particulate matter and nitric oxides from diesel can cause respiratory problems such as asthma. We got cardiovascular disease. Exposure to fine particulates can lead to heart and lung disease, and chronic noise exposure can elevate stress, anxiety, hypertension, and heart issues. Sleep disturbances, and uh, residents have reported who live near these data centers. They have reported symptoms like headaches and inability to concentrate due to the persistent noise. Here's one of the bigger issues for me is that vulnerable communities bear the brunt. And so what they like to do is any community that's low income or extremely rural communities, they disproportionately put data centers in those cities. So if you're looking in a big city and there's a data center, it's usually near a low income communities. And then what happens, they're the ones that get these health problems. So you got like Boxtown, Memphis, that's residents near an ex AI data center reported increased respiratory problems, coinciding with documented spikes in nitrogen dioxide levels. You have in Loudoun County, Virginia, residents in Data Center Alley, which have over 200 data centers, report constant noise and diesel fumes from backup generators. In Georgia, a Meta data center reportedly caused nearby residents' water wells to run dry due to its massive water consumption. So I wanted to just report on that for you all, just so that, again, AI is a good tool if you're researching something. But when we use AI for all of these, I just call them nonsensical things. These are the problems that you have in all the water drains and all the electricity issues, the noise pollution, the decreased quality of life. These are the real world effects of these data centers. So all I'm saying is when you're going off to use these things, like I said, if you're using it for research purposes, or to assist you in your job and something like that, that's one thing. But now we've gotten everybody using these AI to do images of other people, and particularly dead celebrities, and also making up AI information on people. I'm really getting concerned about the real world implication, and just the social and the emotional and economic implications of using AI in that manner that I just described before. All right, people, we do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Uh, are y'all really reconsidering about what we use the AI for? And is anybody willing to pay that cost? You're talking about your electric bill going up 2 to 3,000%. Are you willing to pay that cost? Your water bill going up at least 500%. Are you willing to pay that cost? Is that cost worth having that data center in your community? Y'all let me know down below. All right, people, we do this every week. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you care. Y'all, please tell a friend, tell a kin, tell a coworker, tell that heifer that you can't stand that I'm over here making these videos. And as always, people, bye-bye.